Okay, so this is my third attempt since my first attempt was yesterday and my second attempt was today, a few minutes ago. So, also, this is What If Deku was trained by Technoblade, yay. So, just so you know, this is early in the morning. So my siblings, cousins gonna be up. Or Fluffy. Okay, let's continue. After the 3 months, they go back to school and Sarah and Izuku walk together. Izuku and the rest of the class walk in and Izawa comes in and says, okay, we're going to be having the sports festival, so you will have 1 week to train for it. They then continue with class. They tried to leave, but class 1B and a few other classes was in front of the door, and Mama comes to the front to insult class 1A. How they think they are much better because they took out the villains. Izuku comes up to Mona and says, you have no idea what we have been through. And first of all, we didn't even know you before you announced yourself today. Do you know what really happened? People were trying to kill us. And just because we got 3 weeks off of school doesn't mean we did good. He was giving us a break because we saw people die in front of our eyes, and you dare to say we fought greatly? We are children. We are freshmen. We don't have that kind of attitude. We just want to meet people, not make rivalries. And if you even come near my classmates, I can't ensure that you'll be able to become a hero anymore when I cripple you. Or you may just die on your first patrol. You seem like the one who'd be able to do that. Izuku then takes a deep breath and walks to his next class. Sarah falls behind him, and they made a path for him because his eyes were glowing. And he looked like he was going to attack Monoma, but didn't want to hurt him, so he walked away. The day went on, and Izuku was in a very bad mood because of Monoma, and had a resting bitch face. But Sarah assured him that it probably won't happen again, because you scared him, so don't worry about it. Izuku continued with his day and went on a walk to clear his mind about everything that happened. He went to a not very popular park next to a beach to train for the sports festival in a week. In his training, he tries to control his fire manipulation, his swordsmanship, his wind control, and manipulate it like a blade. 3 hours later, Izuku was approached by an old man and says, Sonny, why are you working so hard? You should take a break, at least a quick break. Izuku looks at the man and says, Thanks for your concern, sir. The man says, You are very strong, young man, but you must know you are when you're at your limits. The man says, You are very, Izuku says, I'll keep that in mind. The old man walks away. Izuku takes that advice and takes a break for a while. His phone starts to ring, and he picks it up. Izuku says, Hello, this is Kohaku Izuku. Who is this? Filza says, What's up, champ? Izuku says, I'm sorry, who is this? Filza says, Well, I'm your grandpa. We didn't get to really talk to each other since we had to go. But would you like to come over and talk? Izuku says, So you're the dad of my dad. Filza says, I'm the dad of Technoblade. Or a friend, I guess. Izuku says, Oh, so your mom's dad. Filza laughs and says, So that you're calling him mom? Izuku says, Yeah, I just call him dad. Filza says, "That's cute." Izuku then says, "Well, see you soon then." Phil says, "You too." Izuku hangs up and wipes the sweat off his face and walks back to UA campus. Izuku then gets on some suitable and walks to the door, but is stopped by a hand. That hand is his boyfriend, Sero, and says, "Where are you going on this fine afternoon?" Izuku says, "I'm going to visit my grandpa for the first time." Izuku says, "Well, don't stay past curfew, and if you are, I'll try to cover you." He kisses him on the cheek and says, "Well, have fun." Izuku then says, "I will." He smiles and walks out the door. He walks to the same place where he met his parents for the first time and walks in between the trees and somehow disappears. He walks to see the place where his parents came from, the Manberg, a different universe. He hops in and sees the stars and swims to a door and opens it. He walks in and goes in the direction of Filza's house and knocks on the door. He answers and says, "My boy, please come in." Izuku comes in and talks with Filza. It was calming. But someone bursts through the door and says, "Just killed a woman. Feeling good." Filza says, "Oh my god, who is it now?" Tommy then says, "Nah, I'm kidding, but wait, is that my nephew?" Izuku says, "Yes." Tommy then asks a bunch of questions, left and right. Izuku says one question at a time. Tommy says, "Oh, well, who is your guardian other than Techno in the SMP?" Izuku says, "Oh, Dream." Tommy then says, "So you're not only the son of my brother, who is also the blood god, but also the son of the owner of the SMP?" Izuku says, "Yes." Tommy then goes brain dead for for a few seconds before snapping back and says, "Well, on to my other question. Are you outside the border?" In a cold voice. Quick side note. This is to my this is my own headcanon, so it is not canon, the SMP, Dream SMP, so the border is basically the MHA universe and split to different universes. So since the Dream SMP and the MHA universe are different universes, Dream has prohibited everyone from going past the border since he knew it was a different universe, and was a guard with technoblade since he was the most capable. And they also go in the middle of the universe. If you paid attention to the first video, it said in between his and their universe where they met Izuku. Continuing, Izuku smarts and let his bloodlust go a bit and says, "What if I am?" Tommy then says, "What the fuck?" Izuku laughs and says, "Well, I am." Tommy says, "Can you tell me more about it?" Izuku then says, "Well, it's just like your normal. But where there is gravity and people with superpowers, and even people who are heroes and some who are villains." Izuku continues to tell Tommy about the MHA universe in amazed. Izuku then checks the time and says, "I need to go, or I'll be late for curfew. Sorry, bye." He runs out to the woods and goes to the border. It takes him a few minutes, but he gets there. Izuku then takes a deep breath and jumps in. He feels the open space and floats to the yellow door and opens it and sees his city and walks through the door. He walks into the dorms. It was 10:57 p.m. and most of the class was at the door, and they say, "Where were you?" Izuku looks at Sero and he mouths, "Sorry, love." Or, I don't think y'all heard that, or "Sorry, love." Izuku says, I was meeting someone, and they look to Sarah and it's like, you knew? Sarah says, it's not like that, you dirty-minded idiots. He went to visit his grandpa. Izuku says, well, I'm going to bed. Sarah follows him, and they go to sleep. The next couple of days, it went normal and smoothly. But then the sports festival came up, and they went to the changing rooms into the sports festival uniform for UA. They then go in the waiting room and do and they go to like the arena where like all like the classes, like class 1B, like stands. And so now like the speech. So Izuku goes on the pedestal because he was the one who got first place on the entrance exam. Okay. Izuku says, ladies and gentlemen, today we are demonstrating the power of UA High School, a school of talent and future heroes. And those who are watching at home, and for you, I hope you see the power of UA. I hope to see the power you hold, but keep your cards to your chest till the end, and surprise your enemy. This also applies to hero work, so just keep that in mind. I hope to see what you got. He steps down, and the whole crowd claps. The whole SIB, or the Sleepy Boys, incorporate and Dream, and some of the Dream SMP members are there. They then wait for the wheel to land on something, and it lands on the race obstacle course. And they line up. Izuku knows Todoroki's going to do something, so he dodges the ice flash and takes his axe and runs to the robots. He hacks and chops the robots up, and then passes the obstacle course and goes to the minefield. He uses the minefield like Canon Deku, but with a shield and not a piece of the robot. He wins first place and waits for the others to arrive so they can start the next challenge. They do the wheel, and next is the cavalry battle. And they team up with Izuku's team, Sero, Ochako, Tokoyami. Ochako makes them lights. Izuku is the head. Tokoyami is like the back, and Sero is like the back support, since like he has to support the head with everyone else. They win, and it's the one-on-one fight, and it's the one-on-one fights. The first is Izuku versus Shinso, and Ojiro, or Tail Man, warns Izuku, and he goes in the arena, and he plays the quiet game with Shinso for a while, but stops when he insults Izuku and Sero's relationship. Izuku then runs up to him, hits him with a shovel. He was tempted to slash him with the sword. Izuku then makes an axe and pushes him off the arena border and says, if I were you, I wouldn't comment on someone else's relationship. Consider you can't keep a friendship. If you would have trained your body, you would have had a chance, but you decided to mope around because you have a villain quirk. I literally have violent tendencies, so we are no different between us. If you hadn't said something about my partner, I would have called you a friend. Of course, there's no need to fight right now, since this match is already over, so bye. Izuku walks out of the ring and walks into the waiting room with the rest of his class. He sees Sero's condition and helps him out with his fire, and he doesn't get hypothermia. He glares at Todoroki like, what the fuck, man? Denki and Wana's gotta be, Denki versus Goddess Wannabe, and the fight goes the same. Then Ida and Maze. Ida wins, and the rest are the same until Izuku's fight. Izuku versus Todoroki. Izuku enters the arena, and Shoto, after the alarm, goes for the same move he did to Sero, but Izuku dodges it and makes an axe and throws it at him. And he dodges, but it does frighten him since it was an axe. He says, "What the hell?" Izuku ignores him and uses his fire as a sword and slashes the ice, and Izuku says, "I'm sorry, but I can't believe you're only using your ice. If you want to fight me, you need to use everything you got, or you're unworthy of me." After a lot of talking, he finally uses his fire. It goes wild and goes everywhere and devours Izuku. Shoto actually got worried because he didn't hear anything, and he thinks he killed him. Sarah also thinks Shoto killed him and is about to scream when Izuku walks out of the fire with a bit of burns on his clothes, but nothing serious. He says, "Wow, you're powerful, but not enough." Izuku then pushes Todoroki out of the arena and walks into the waiting room. Sarah jumps on to Izuku's arms. "What the hell? I almost called the police, you crazy idiot." Sarah hugs Izuku tightly, and Izuku says, "I'm sorry, I won't do it again, I promise." Izuku hugs back and stays with Sarah for the rest of the time until his fight. Izuku walks out to the arena and sees Bakugo staring down at him with a grin. Izuku then smirks and they charge at each other. Bakugo blocks the explosion, then shoots him with a knockback bow. The point is dulled so it won't hurt him, like it's not going into his flesh or anything. It just like when you scratch yourself with a nail. Like your nail, not an actual like fingernail, okay? Not an actual nail. Okay. Bakugo goes down, but when he tries to get up, he feels the cold metal of Izuku's axe. Bakugo begrudgingly surrenders, and Izuku won the sports festival. Izuku was given the medal, and they do the internships. Izuku got the most, so they have a celebration to congratulate everyone who won, and those who didn't win, they still celebrated for trying. Sato makes cake for everyone, Momo helps make decorations, and they all around have a good time. Then the next day they choose their internships, but before that he hears what happened to Ida's brother and saw the type of look in his eyes and decides to help him out. Izuku chooses Endeavor's agency and he does the training, but when they go on the mission to the Hoso attack, he follows Ida far behind so he can't see him. Then he thinks Ida should probably learn his lesson because he knows what kind of person Ida is, so he lets him get some injuries. Not enough to end his career, but enough to make it painful. Izuku then jumps in when Stain tries to kill Ida. Izuku then uses his sword and slashes and says, "You're really planning on killing a kid?" Stain says, "It's better for him and his brother were dead, so the fake heroes like him won't come back." I'm sorry. Izuku gets angry and charges Stain, then to be continued. Yeah, I pulled that on you guys. So, I am going to be doing new what ifs, probably just one shots, because I probably won't do any more for them, or maybe, you don't know, like the Tengu what if. So, yeah. Bye everyone, and have a nice evening, day, afternoon, night, and have a good day.